What's going on, people? We are back with another video. In this one here, we have got Claire. Now, as you know, on social media, a lot of things have gone down. A lot of things have gone down that, personally, for me, I have found quite surprising because on the show, we've only seen Claire be very supportive throughout the whole time. But recently, as you know, Claire came out with a video that then exposed Rob being rather verbally violent towards Sophie. Obviously, something that didn't exactly go down well. Now, in the end, Claire ends up getting arrested, but then she ends up being released. So right now, we're here to find out exactly from Claire what exactly has been going down, because we know that there was some text messages that were leaked that therefore showed Claire in one of the worst lights possible. You know, things such as threatening her own daughter. Well, Claire's here to make sure that we now know what really went down. And, you know, really and truly, I just feel like if we look at the parallel of how Claire's been on the show with Sophie compared to then what we were seeing on social media, there's a lot of things that just didn't make sense. So I think right now, Claire's obviously now going to her side. So with that being said, Claire, let us know just let us know. Like, I mean, I think we should start off with the arrest. Let us know how that went.
Okay. Well, I have waited I think it's over 4 weeks now. I thought Sophie might put this to bed and put it right. And I just want to say this is very difficult because it's talking about my daughter, and I never thought I'd have to do this. And right now I'm heartbroken and I'm very sad about it. So basically, I just want to say the arrest was fake, them texts and that threat was all fake. That's why I got released. When I saw the judge, I got, okay, let me start. How can I start? Let's start from where it started. So basically, Kate is obsessed with my daughter. I think she's more wants to be Sophie. And I didn't realize how bad it was until this time when I came to visit. And so I visited and I was there a month, and I came there because I'm in chronic pain with my leg. I still can't walk for a year. And Sophie said she was going to help me with that. I was going to help her with one of her businesses. And nothing got done. And Sophie said, stay a bit longer. But she went away for 6 weeks. So I stayed there with Kay. And when Sophie got back, I had a really private conversation, which is really hurtful that I have to even mention this because it's personal. But I sat Sophie down because we saw a program once of a guy, and he was on TV, and everywhere he worked, and his family thought he was super happy, and he killed himself. And I remember Sophie saying, don't ever do that. And I sat her down and I said, this leg, not being able to walk, everything's hard, I can't sleep. And I said, I'm in a really, really dark place, Soph. And I shared that with her. She went, oh my God, I didn't realize, I'm so sorry, I'm so lazy. And I said, yeah. And I said, I came here for us to set this up, get my money back. And it was, this was personal stuff. Anyway, Sophie went outside, and Kate, we started arguing. Now we're arguing, mother and daughter. Doesn't mean I'm crazy, but it wasn't just me arguing. It was Sophie. She wouldn't be accountable. And Kate jumped in the conversation. And I said, Kate, mind your business. This has nothing to do with you. So she went, get out my house. And this isn't her house. I paid the rent for that. So Sophie had a safe haven to go to. So for the last year, when Sophie said about being with Rob, I respect that she wants to be with him and make it work. But I said, I ran one of my mentors up and sent her the videos, and they said she needs to get out of there, like now. And if they want to date and see how it goes. So that was my only ever interference with Rob and Sophie's marriage. I have never argued with Rob before the show. I've never just, there's texts I sent you. It was always called, hey, Rob, do you want me to do your washing? Hey, Rob. And then Rob sent me messages saying, okay, I feel so bad. I've online cheated. And I never had to go at him. I said, thank you for your honesty. So anyway, Kay threatened to kick me out. And so I said, I'm leaving. And what happened was I left, and then Sophie said, please come back, Mom. So I came back, and I was sitting in the lounge. This is how it all escalated. There's a pet cam. Kay's got a pet cam, and she'd gone away with her dog. And I'm sitting there, and it went, and I went, oh my God, Sophie, there's a ghost. The pet cam. She went, oh no, that's Kay. She's always spying. I went, but the dog's not here. Sophie went, yeah, but she always does that. And I've got PTSD from the only time Sophie's ever been there for me is 7 years ago. I was in a relationship. I wasn't in it very long, but he stalked me for 2 years, kidnapped me, beat me, tried to kill me multiple times, broke in my mum's with a knife. It was horrific. And I relapsed. That was 7 years ago, sorry. And Sophie came back, and she called the police, and I went to England with her. That's all she's ever done for me, as far as being there for me. I don't know where all this nonsense is coming from about her childhood, because I wasn't using in her childhood. She had an idyllic childhood. So So when I came back, Sophie cried and sent me this message. I'm going to give you all your money. I'm sorry I've not been there. I didn't realize your leg was so bad. However, I'm sleeping on a blow-up bed and Sophie's in a double bed. Like, even with my leg pain, like, her princess, that is on me. I've spoilt her too much. So the argument come up again because nothing had got done. And Kay was really, really high. Kay smokes that bomb thing, like, like a baby with her pacifier. It's just, I don't know what's in it. And Sophie started arguing. And Sophie, my mum was on a FaceTime call. My mum's got cancer. And I forgot my mum was on the call. Yeah. And Sophie she constantly, like, we'll be arguing and then she'll video me shouting when she's the one started shouting at me. So it looks like I'm crazy. And I said, get that camera out my face. So my mum said, Sophie, I didn't just hear you, I saw you do it. So my daughter blocked my mum, who's had cancer. All she's ever done is been there for Sophie. So then Kay got involved and Kay stood up on the couch. She looked like, it sounds awful, but I'm just being honest. In The Hobbit, the Precious, with her eyes bulging, she was leaning over me, calling me all these names. I'm here for Sophie, best friends forever. You ain't, and she was in my face. Now I'm on crutches. I ain't a threat to no one. I haven't even got balance. So my body went into the PTSD is my mental health, which I don't ever get because I'm really careful who I am around. My body went into tremors and I said to Sophie, please get her away from me, please. And knowing that I said to Sophie how depressed I was, I expected my daughter to just tell Kay to go away and come in the room and sit down with me. And instead, Kay called the police because Kay realized that the more she got in my face, the more I was like, get out of my face. They were all shouting at me. It wasn't just me shouting. It was dramatic. When the police come, I was already leaving. Like, the police, me and Sophie started talking, sorry. We was talking in the bedroom. I said, look, I'm getting out of here. I can't be around Kay. She's triggering me. All this spying. It's your life. If you're okay with that. But I ain't okay. I'm your mom. You've asked me to come all this way on crutches. I only get to see my daughter twice a year. You spent no time with me, and I'm in a house where the girl's spying. Previously to that, Kay took my phone. She said she'd lost her phone. Can I borrow your phone for Google? And, I felt uncomfortable giving her my password. I'd take the phone. But ever since I gave her that phone, my phone was playing up. I didn't think about it until I was in jail. So anyway, I went to this hotel and I was really, really depressed then. I was like, I'm all by myself. I'm on crutches. I had back spasms. Like, I couldn't even get up to get a glass of water. That's how much pain I was in. And I did send this message. I said, I can't believe you've done this to me after I told you the place I was in. I said, I literally hate you right now, Sophie. And it was coming from a place of hurt. Like, I was really hurt. There was none of that C word. It was next when the police knock on my door. They said, oh, we're here for mental health. I went, what? I said, I'm not mental. So they looked at me. They said, I said, do you have to come in? They said, no. I said, go then. I sent Sophie a message. That was a message I just sent saying, I can't believe you sent the police here. All I need is family, love, and compassion right now. I don't need anyone else. And what happened 3 months before this, just to mention, is Rob came to Sophie's house, crying, screaming and shouting. And Kay was like, get out of my house, which is not her house. It's half both of theirs. And he said, I'm going to kill myself. Kay kicked him out. And guess what Sophie done? She got an Uber to Rob's to be there. She rang me going, it's all so bad for him. I said, Sophie, you need to go there. If someone's saying that, whether they're doing it to blackmail you or not, it's not your place to decide. You need to be there for Rob. So she did that for him, but not for me. Anyway, 3 times in that night, the police came. One time, I went, what? Police ringing. You won't believe that you're supposed to. I went, no. I said, I had a conversation with my daughter. I said, these 2 girls, I don't know what they're playing at. So they left. For 2 days, I was in a hotel room. I didn't have no contact with Sophie. I was crying a lot with my family and friends. So I couldn't get back to Spain till the 22nd for my visa. And then I wake up one morning to go down to get a coffee. My hair's all dilally. I just got up and the police were at the door. As I walked out, they arrested me. And I went, why am I arrested? No one told me anything. Like, in England, they would have said why, and I would have said, check my phone. I would not send that message. It would have been done. America's system is crazy. So I get there, and then the judge sees me, and she said, here's your bond. I said, what are the charges? She went, terroristic attack. I went, what? That was the scariest statement I've ever heard in my life. I went for what? She went, I saw the text last night that you sent your daughter. Sophie's not pressing charges now. The Texas County are. So you ain't getting off. So this is serious, right? So I'm like, what text? I spent 5 days in there. 3 days they put me in isolation, down with all the crazies, because I got crutches. So I said to them, why am I in here? You only get out an hour in the corridor. They said, because your crutches are a weapon. I went, take the crutches. Put me in population. So I got in. It was really like, I actually got on with everyone. I didn't have any trouble in there, which is really crazy. It showed me that I'm actually a strong character. But Sophie blocked my mum. My mum had a suspected heart attack. She was so stressed. She was, Sophie, please, why are you doing this to your mum? All my friends were ringing her and they were saying, she just keeps lying. 1 minute she said she got you arrested. 1 minute it was for mental health. Sophie was telling me, I got to speak to her once, that, oh no, mum, I didn't. I went to get you out day one. I spoke to Sophie on the first day. I said, what the hell is going on? I didn't say, what is happening? She said, her words to me were, have you learned your lesson? I was like, what? I looked at my texts yesterday. There was a text after I posted that video of Rob saying, you do anything else against my friends or Rob, you will not forget. I will post you in addiction, which is really sick to do because I got clean, I help other people get clean. And she said, I will do everything to protect myself. But I went in jail. See what happened in them 3 days with the mental health? I went to send Sophie the video of Rob, one of the aggressive ones, to say, what the earth? Why am I here by myself? When I wasn't aggressive to you, it was an argument where you've done me wrong and you put up with this every day. They were all deleted. And then as I'm looking, texts were getting deleted off my phone. Everything was getting deleted, messages from Kay to me, Sophie. And I was like, so I was fuming and I did post it. It was a knee-jerk reaction to anger. I was like, oh my God, why are you deleting everything? So I said, look, I'm getting thrown under the bus. Everyone thinks that I'm interfering. The real reason you're not with Rob is because of this. So I posted online. It was a knee-jerk reaction. In hindsight, I should have just took it to the police from day one because I've got worse videos of Rob. So that is why I believe they put me in there to keep me quiet, because that's how it felt. And the reason I got out, I spoke to the lawyer. I said, my family have contacted the English consulate because they couldn't get me on bail because I was a flight risk because I'm British. So no bail people would bomb me out. So I said to the lawyer, you're going to have to do time for this. The judge, I went, what am I meant to have said? So she said what I was meant to say, and I'm not even going to say it because I can't even believe Sophie would even think I'd write that. I said, I never wrote that. She went, what? And then I told them about the show. I feel like the girls were just trying to trigger me to get videos of me. I told her about, hey, my phone's been hacked. I said, I know, take my phone out of the storage or wherever it is in jail, and you'll see them texts never come from me. So the lawyer went to the judge because the lawyer said to me, I said, I will stay in here as long as it takes to do a retrial. I am not being accused of this yet. I am not. She said, well, you got a retrial. She said, but Claire, you could be in here for 2 years because we can't bond you out. And my integrity said, I don't care. I'll stay in here. Done 7 days in there. I mean, it wasn't ideal, but I knew I could get through it because I have a higher power in meditation. That's what got me through, visualizing I'm on a beach and all that stuff. She came back. She said, the judge has squashed all your charges because there was enough for every. I said, get that pep cam. I said, Kate actually said to me, I don't know if it was round the pool or in the lounge, I'll effing kill you, bitch. I ain't scared of you. So I said, I'm in here for the text that I didn't write, that's not on my phone. They started it with the police. She'd already threatened me. I also got attacked, I'm not saying who by, in the bedroom. I said to them, I was physically attacked in the bedroom, pushed on the bed to get my computer and iPhone. And the lawyer said, really? I said, yeah. I said, and the pet cam you won't be able to see it, but you'll hear me screaming. So all this online about me being the crazy, I was attacked. It was awful what happened to me now. And the fact that, Sophie sent me a message. We only started talking 2 weeks ago on email. And I said to her, I can't believe Rob's talking rubbish about me and his friend. Yeah, this is what happened to Sophie when she was a child. She went, well, Rob had to defend himself. He ruined his life. I went, he doesn't have to defend himself. He has to, admit to it and say that I need help. But Sophie, I've asked her to talk about it. She won't talk about it. She said, Mum, just get over it. No one's talking about it anymore online. And I'm like, really? And I've realized she's keeping me sweet. I don't know if it's because she's waiting for a green card or whatever, but I'm getting loads of messages from people that like the show that don't believe any of that stuff. Like, there's some people that watch that show that are like really loyal, and they send me stuff. And they said to me, this is because I've really been struggling with her to talk about it. But some things I just let go, like Rob trashing me online. Sophie said, please don't say anything back. And I'm like, I'm not down with that stuff. But this is serious. I can't have people out there thinking I'm some psychopath, tempted murderer who's like, says, because that isn't who I am. And Sophie hasn't put it right. And she's allowing people to talk rubbish. And what's hurting me the most is the one thing I'm proud of is how I brought Sophie up. I was a really good mum. Like our house was open door. All the kids in the neighborhood, like these apartments we lived in, all be in my house. Weekends, all the mums at the school go, can I drop the kids off at the weekend? It was like I was the babysitter. Then people would be having their kids in my house because I was this terrible mum. And I'm still friends with these mums because they're absolutely mortified how Sophie's treating me. And my addiction did not affect her. When it did affect her was when she was already an adult. I relapsed and I was getting help. Like I didn't know the reason I relapsed was I was suffering with PTSD. I didn't know that. And I got help with it. So I am it all started off with Kay trying to get me out the house. Basically, she wants Sophie to herself. And I had a conversation with Kay 3 weeks before this all happened. She was slagging off Sophie and Rob. I'm sick of it. Why is she with him? And I said, listen, you ain't been there from the start. There was a lot of love at the beginning with these two. And I've seen what they've gone through with this long visa. Yeah, Rob's made mistakes. But if someone wants to give someone a second chance, it's not for you to say. I said, I've only got a problem with his aggression. But once Sophie moved out and had a safe haven, if they want to work on it, great. But what I can't put up with is Sophie and here's the thing with Sophie. I think she's put this 5 minutes of fame before me, before her integrity, before her morals and principles. I also think Sophie's addicted to attention and she wants to be loved and play the victim. Because when I saw Sunday's episode, because I don't, like I said earlier, I don't watch the show. I never argue with her. Then Sophie got me to go to that restaurant and to his house. She went, please, mum, please. I went, so there's no point. It's not my business, you know. My business was protecting you and getting you out of that house. For the rest, like she vents to me. But then I'm arguing with Rob, which I knew that would happen because he gaslight me and I can't deal with Rob. The gaslighting sends my head crazy. And Sophie said in her little TF or whatever it's called, I wish my mum could support the marriage. And I'm like, how much more can I report you? I went on a show I didn't want to go on. I literally listen to you, vent all the time. I'm there for you. I don't want to talk to Rob about your issues, but yet you've asked me to for a TV show. So me and Rob, the only time we've argued was once in his house on season 1 and the few times on this season. But everyone's jumping on this thing, and I don't think it's fair that Sophie would leave me out here. And the fact she won't even talk to me or call me to go through what really happened is not okay. But I am really struggling to accept that my daughter put me in jail because I sent an aggressive video of Rob. And what's more important is them texts that were put online. I asked Sophie about it. I think it was on your YouTube channel that I saw the screenshots. I think it was you. But anyway, Sophie said it wasn't her that posted them. She said, I didn't put them on there.
No, from what I remember, it was Rob's friend. What's his name? He's also on the show too. I think he's got dreadlocks or cornrows. Yeah, it was his friend he's the one that posted it. What I remember.
Well, here's the thing: the lawyer knew they weren't real. They weren't on my phone. There was some. Sophie sent me some really threatening ones. I sent her ones back. I can't believe you've done this to me. I hate you right now. I never want to see you again. Which is what arguments are. I mean, literally, she kicked me out of the house. I'm on crutches. You know, I've got a girl that's literally in my face, high as anything. I mean, I was surprised she was even on the show because Texas marijuana is not legal. Apparently, if you get caught with it, it's $2,000 fine. The second time you get in jail. But she was high the whole time through that filming. And that's the one thing I said to Sophie. And I don't judge no addict. I never will. You know, the only time you should look down on an addict is if you're bending down to help them up. However, if an addict's behaviour is affecting my life, and literally I was in jail, but I said to Sophie, you need to be careful having people that high, that are constantly high, on the show because they will mess it up for you. They will talk shit and just be thinking of themselves. And that first time I met her, I think it was 2 weeks ago, it was so uncomfortable, like seeing every time the cameras were off. puffing on that thing. And here's the thing with marijuana. I really want to say this because people think marijuana is safe. Yeah, it is. Like alcohol is safe to some people. Some people can drink and smoke a joint just with, you know, a little bit ease and comfort. But if you're got an addictive behaviour, I've met people that have ended up in mental institutes because they've gone into a psychosis. The guy that stalked me and multiple times kidnapped me and tried to kill me and beat me and stabbed me, he used to, as soon as he took a puff, he'd hear voices to kill people. I also know a lot of women in America whose children took one joint and fentanyl was in it and they overdosed. So it ain't a joke. Like people underestimate it, but Kay's behaviour is how the police even listened to her because she was as high as a kite when they come in. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's been quite a few weeks now and I've literally lost my baby down to lies. So it's difficult. Yeah, so one of the things, this is what's really funny as well, where there's so many holes in the story, is Kay, apparently the judge said was a witness. They're so scared of Claire, she's crazy, la la la. When I got out of jail, I got my friend to text Sophie to say, your mum doesn't want to see you, but she needs her suitcase, her passport, everything was at Sophie's and Kay's house. Send an Uber to this address. So it was a motel and I'm sitting outside on this step and the Uber never come. Guess who turned up? Kay, with my suitcases. Kay, who called the police because Claire's so badass crazy and she's scared for her life and all this rubbish, turned up in this horrible motel. I just bought the first one I could find with my suitcases while I'm sitting there. And she's meant to be scared of me. That's what's so funny. The whole thing is just rubbish. But I truly believe because I posted the Rob videos, I think Kay got it in Sophie's head to call the police because Kay was worried what I was going to say about her. And Sophie was worried because Sophie knows I have loads and loads of tea on all of them. So I think Sophie was like, oh, mum's. I used to, when I was angry back in the day before I got in recovery, if you, for want of a bad word, peed me off, I would be straight in. And it would just be me defending myself. I don't do that because being clean in recovery is all about serenity. Yeah, I lose my temper. Sometimes I'm a human being. But I think Sophie was scared that, oh my God, she's going to go back to the old Claire and she's going to post everything. I'm not going to do that, you know? Well, who knows?
I mean, listen, I think, okay, so first and foremost, obviously, we know that you've posted the video of Rob showing us, of course, obviously, what he can be like. You've also mentioned that there are other videos as well that are potentially even worse than that too. Now, obviously, since the video's been uploaded, of course, everything that has gone down on Sophie's side, on Rob's side, Rob's friend's side, Kay's side, it's all been targeted at making you look like this super villain. And the thing that I would say that I was struggling to always understand was that on the show, like I said at the very beginning of this video, is that your relationship with Sophie always looked so freaking amazing together because no matter wherever she was doing, you was always there to support her. If she ever needed to meet Rob and she needed you to come with her, you'd go with her. Do you see what I'm saying? And even this season stuff in particular, right now, we're still seeing you still being there and being supportive towards Sophie. But Rob, though, on the other hand, on the show, he keeps making it seem as if, like, ever since you've been in his life, you have made his life nothing but hell, and you've only ever wanted the worst for their relationship. But I know for me, I've seen the message you sent me that says otherwise. Can you please, give us your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So when Sophie got with him, like I met him and I used to go let me start again. So when I moved to Mexico near Tijuana, and when I got there, I said, Sophie, have a break from working, and I paid for the rent, and Rob come down 3 or 4 days. Their relationship was already dead. It weren't my place to say. Sophie would cry when he left. I can't believe you haven't even kissed me. I don't even know. Obviously, my experience is usually if a guy's not going near you, they've probably got someone else. I never said that to Sophie. But I always was respectful to Rob. When I used to go and stay in a house, like that place that had the bathroom outside, I spent 4 hours cleaning that outside bathroom. I had to throw so many buckets of hot water, scrubbed his floor. I always did things for him. Like in them texts, hey, Rob, can I walk the dog? Would you like me to do your washing? It's always been cordial. There's one of their messages I think where he actually says, thank you for everything you do for me and Sophie. That's what I did. When they needed to go away because they weren't getting on, I gave Sophie an extra grand so they could go to Cancun because Rob was moaning about paying the money. there was never any arguments. All I've done is support their relationship. And I kind of deep down, I never told Sophie that she should walk away. I used to think, because I knew how much she loved him. And in a way, I don't know if it was good parenting or bad. I'd say, but maybe when you get there, it'd be better. And it wasn't. And then I'd say, maybe when you get your green card and you can support yourself, it'd be better. So because I just wanted her to be happy and fix it. But no, there's never been any arguments with Rob. The only arguments were on the show. And that's only because Sophie made me have them conversations. Because in the real world, I wouldn't have them conversations with Rob. It's not my business. It's not my marriage. You know, I can be there for Sophie constantly ringing me. Oh, I hate him. He's done this. He's done that. And I go, babe, I feel really bad. What are you going to do about it? Whatever you do. But I never had arguments. I mean, them texts just prove it. I mean, there's loads of them just saying, you know, oh, sorry to hear about your grandma dying, Rob, and him sending me a heart. So I don't know where all this rubbish. It's like they both got too carried away with this TV show. They lost themselves in their lies, I believe. But it's not okay. His friend he's like one of them things that, you know, the circus that pops their heads up and you have to keep whacking it. He keeps popping his heads up wherever he can to say, yeah, I saw what he wrote. He said something like, yeah, you never know what goes on behind closed doors or something. My door was open from the minute. So it was just a free house of kids. At the weekends, they'd all bring their sleeping bags. I'd have like 12 kids. And when Sophie said I used to shout, I was speaking to my friends back in Spain. They went, you shouted no more than anyone else. You was a single mum. You always had multiple kids in your house. And I shouted if they broke the rules. I was very strict with boundaries. I had to be able to see them over the balcony. And if they weren't there, or if I went to pick them up from the park, if they weren't there, dead on time, they'd get in the car and I'd go, listen, when I say 6 o'clock, girls, I mean 6 o'clock. That's what the shouting was. That's literally, I don't care.
I mean,
ideally, I'd never shout as a mum, but it's frustrating. We shout.
I mean, to be fair, I think everybody shouts. You know what I mean? Like nobody can be made to look bad for shouting at their kids. You know, nobody can sit here and pretend as if they've never shouted to a kid in their life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it happens. So, nah, that's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? But yeah.
That's when I shouted things like that, which I think lots of people do, right?
Absolutely. But I will say this though. I mean, so when it came down to it, and after you initially uploaded the video, Sophie then used mental health as the reason to why you had uploaded it. And she also even spoke about how you had then were threatening to take her life and all that kind of stuff. Like, what were your thoughts? What was your reaction when you first saw the hold on a minute, my child is using mental health as a reason of why I'm behaving the way I'm behaving, and then also to say that I'm threatening to take her life. And then obviously at the time, there was obviously screenshots about it, all that kind of stuff. Let me know your thoughts.
I was so ashamed of her in that moment because, like, mental health is a serious issue. Like, you know, there's some people out there that are seriously mental health. Like, I met them in prison. They're like hearing voices, talk that crazy, and they shouldn't have been there. They should have been. It was really sad. I mean, one thing I will say about going to jail, I met some women that they lived under a bridge, and they were crackheads, and I've given them my number. So when they come out, I've got some contacts for them. So like every bad situation, I have to keep going. I was able to help some people there. And this is what annoyed me with Sophie is because she knows how many people I try and help, because that's what keeps you clean. It's like doing good in the world makes you feel better. And when I saw Sophie had used that, and I was fuming because that's when I did that video in the morning, because it wasn't mental health. It was an angry mum that had been betrayed by a daughter who let me down in multiple ways, which I don't need to go in, it's private stuff, who I'd explained I was really struggling with this leg, the depression, who had a friend who was high as a kite threatening me, who then that triggered my PTSD. But the main thing was I was just freaking angry with two 25-year-olds screaming at me, videoing me when I'm screaming back, but not videoing what they're saying to me. It was so horrible. It really wasn't. I thought by telling Sophie how I was that's the only time I've ever asked Sophie for anything was that day when I said, I need some help right now because I'm really, really depressed.
I remember you were saying that obviously growing up, her life is quite good. On the show now, Sophie has then obviously started off by saying that her life, well, on the show, she said that you had to look after at certain points in your life because of your addiction, but you still had a decent childhood. But then later on social media now, she's now saying that, hey, I've got an ill family member who's trying to ruined my life. And the thing that I still can't fathom is how Sophie went from saying this on the show
Yeah.
to then saying the whole complete opposite. And again, for me, it was more surprising because I was like, out of all people, I would have never expected you to throw your mum under the bus purely because
Yeah.
of the respect that you showed to have for her on the show. So for her to
Yeah.
lose that level of respect for you to do that was crazy. So my question would be, I mean, we probably don't have the answer to this, but if you do, my question would be, what put Sophie in a position where she finally decided, you know what, I'm now gonna pick Rob, I'm gonna die, I'm basically gonna pick America over my mum and everything that we've been through, you know what I mean? Because that doesn't make sense. Like, do you have any idea why she's picked them over
Yeah.
yourself?
Attention. And I think as well, she's done, because it's already in the papers and everything about the results. So I don't think I'm talking out of school mentioning it. I told her, she's done therapy on these seasons. I said, this is not real therapy. You need real therapy. Because real therapy, you're not going to be honest. There's stuff that you're not going to say on that camera while the cameras are filming you. So don't take this therapy on a reality show real. I said, you need therapy. So she came back. She started talking about her childhood. And I'm like, what? What did you just say? And so me being, I'm really good at sales. I'm amazing with, I did the psychology around people. So I get a feel. And I went, listen here, mate. I said, if you've gone on there just to get, oh, poor Sophie's had a terrible childhood, and this your childhood, which I am so proud of. One thing in my life, when she was born, I made a pact with myself. I ain't going to be that single mum that dates men. So for the first 15 years of her life, I didn't go on a date. I spent every day with her, every New Year's with her. I dedicated being her mum. And the first man she saw me with was her father, her biological father, when she was 15. So I did everything for that child. And I believed that for her to get the sympathy vote, I got a feeling on this next show, she's thrown me under the bus. And I got friends back home that said, we'll go on a live with you and tell everyone what an amazing. And I said, I don't need to do that. I don't need to prove myself to other people. The reason I'm doing this, Sophie needs to be held accountable because she is like running off now with, like, my poor mum's got cancer. My mum supported her in London, paid rent for her, and London's expensive. Gave her money every month. And that's when my mum got diagnosed with cancer. She supported Sophie. She paid for all her schooling from 12 onwards. She looked after Sophie. She loved Sophie. Sophie, my mum sends her affirmations every day for the last 2 years. Sophie doesn't even send a little heart to say, thanks, Nanny. And my mum called and she blocked my mum because my mum said, Sophie, I just saw you on the FaceTime screaming at your mum to get her to react so you could video her. And she blocked her and grandma. It's disgusting. And the fact that she's trying to say about my family, one thing I said, my family's very, what's it called? Conservative, very private. My dad's a very hard worker, and just to stop all that rubbish about my father, he's a property fella. He came from the East End of London and he built himself up. He started with glazing, then got a multi-million-pound business from property developers. He was the biggest contractor in the whole of Britain for councils. He worked frigging hard to get where my dad was. He's a very private man. I didn't even tell him I was on this show. He would have been mortified. And he looked after her. Her childhood, he sent me go, oh, I've booked tickets for you and Sophie to go Hong Kong Disney. She was spoiled beyond belief. And the fact that she's going, I will not allow her, I don't care about me, to diss her family. And her nan's dying. I sent Sophie a text last week. Please call your nana. Your nan's heartbroken that that granddaughter that she loves more than anything in the world has blocked her. It's disgusting. I'm disgusted with Sophie. She's not my child. And this is what I will say. There's a saying, if you go to a barber's, spend too long in the barbers, eventually you'll get a haircut. It's the same as if you're trying to lose weight and you hang around with people that just eat McDonald's, you're going to put weight on. Sophie's living with a girl that has no respect for her elders. I've seen her in Walmart, snap at people, older people. And I said to Sophie when we were arguing, if it was paying her mum shouting and screaming, what would you have done? She said, I would have left the house. Let them get on with it. I went, exactly. And Sophie's like, the money situation. I don't care that she didn't pay the money back. It was the fact that she was trying to make out I was blackmailing her. And here's the thing, Kay stole money off her mum a few weeks ago. She was crying, going, oh, I feel bad, I stole it. I think Sophie now thinks that that's acceptable. She's hanging around with someone that doesn't have the same morals that we brought Sophie up with, and they're rubbing off on Sophie. That's what I think. But I'm not going to have my own daughter over reality. I mean, it's reality show. It's not like they get paid a lot of money. Once this runs out, that's it. and she's jeopardized a mother and daughter. No one has a bond like me and Sophie. We are so tight. We was. I don't even like my own daughter right now, and it's killed me. Killed me.
I mean, listen, if I was in your position, I'd be feeling exactly the same way, you know. And I just think, I think for me personally, the thing that was the most surprising, and I feel like was the worst thing, was when she used obviously mental health and
Yeah, it's
all of it.
disgusting.
You know, I think to be honest with you, in the world that we live in now, mental health is really
Yeah,
it's at a very high stage, you know, and it's becoming more and more awareness. And I just feel like people need to be more
yeah,
sensitive around, you know, things around that, you know what I
yeah.
mean? But what I'm gonna say is, before we finish up, is there anything else that you'd like to say, or anything you'd like to summarize? Because I know obviously a lot of things that went down that you wanted to get off your chest. Is there anything else that you want to just
Yeah. Well, I do want to say this. One of the reasons why I do this is for recovery. What I learned a long time ago was we can't let people walk all over us. And even though this is my daughter, I am slightly worried because my daughter, there is Texas where she's from me going. There was one when I was being beaten and everything, and I'd relapsed, and I wanted to use, and I was in the house and I was screaming, going, "Eh." There's a video of that, and she's threatened to post that, which is so disgusting. But what I will say is my DMs are full up with people in addiction, saying, I had one girl that said, "Claire, amazing, I got weak clean." And I had people contacting me in domestic violence things. So for me, I had to look at, even though I don't really feel it from the heart, me being on that show is giving me an opportunity to help other people. Like one girl said she was in the same relationship as Rob, and she's been trying to get away from him for like months. And she said, seeing her on the show, me and Sophie on the show, she's walked away. But I am worried that Sophie's now going to, start and I don't want her to post them videos because I think it's not one of my finest moments. But I was struggling with addiction and I'm clean. Anyone that gets clean is a miracle as far as I'm concerned. And people have to realize as well that addiction isn't just some junkie on the street. It's lawyers, it's doctors, it's teachers, it's kids. It has no preference. Addiction is just something, there's lots of different things. It's a mental disease of the mind that makes you obsessed about something and keep doing something that prevents you will kill you. So I have nothing to be ashamed of with my addiction, but I will say this. Sierra Cheshire, whatever, it's Sophie Cheshire, it's not Sophie Sierra. Her childhood was amazing. She was loved. She wasn't hurt. She got shouted at sometimes, so did all her friends to say, "Get your butt out of bed, you got school." All what she's saying is BS, and enough is enough. Because one thing no one's taking away from me is what a good mama was to Sophie and how much I love her and care for her. But right now, until she's away from Kay, because Kay is dangerous to me, someone that is like fatal attraction to my daughter clearly is dangerous. Like I ended up in jail. Rob and his friend, I'm just sick of them poking their heads up and trying to jump on it. Rob needs to own his stuff. He's got an anger problem. Go sort it. And as for me and Rob, there was never a relationship of shouting in the past. I'm a good person. I'm bubbly and I'm lively. Right now, I'm extremely, extremely depressed and heartbroken. That is what it is.
I mean, honestly, you don't need to say anything else. We'll just finish it up there, okay? Let me just do the outro. Okay, so listen, everyone, you've come here, you've listened. Obviously, Claire's obviously had a say in terms of everything that's gone down. My humble opinion, personally, again, when everything first came out, I was hella surprised purely because of the witnessed on TV, and to see Sophie, Rob, and even Rob's friend to come out to then throw Claire under the bus on social media. That was nuts. Now, listen, I get it. At the time, Claire had obviously uploaded a video exposing Rob's obviously aggression, and I think personally, listen, that video gave mixed reviews. Some people said she shouldn't have done it. Some people said that she should have done it. And for me personally, to be honest, I was happy that she did do it because we live in a world where sometimes people don't know how to cry out for help. People don't know what to do, and sometimes our emotion can get the best of us. And I always say this: if you can at least get the truth out, it doesn't matter how you get it out, at least get it out, so therefore it starts something. And I think from this conversation that we've had here, the thing that obviously we all take on is that it's evident that Rob potentially needs to go and get help for anger issues. Sophie, clearly needs to look in the mirror and recognize where her priorities lie and recognize what she is giving up for what she thinks that she may gain. You know what I mean? And also on top of that, I just feel like when you've got someone in your life that has a history of mental health, regardless of whether they relapse or not, regardless of if they ever do anything that they shouldn't be doing, throwing that person under the bus on social media is one of the worst you can ever do for them, because somebody who would have gone through that means that they will always be at a point where they can end up doing something that they shouldn't do. Because for me, myself in particular, I've got my own history of my own depression, and I can say this: when you've been down, when you've been at your lowest, even when you find the strength to come out of it, it will always be there. And any small thing could trigger it. And when it's triggered, honestly, anyone who's been through it knows how damaging it is. So for me personally, I would say that regardless of who you believe, it is still disgusting, still revolting, it's still unnecessary that we've had to experience a daughter and her boyfriend and her friends literally throw the mother, their own mother, well, throw her mother under the bus. And also now we're at a position where Claire's had to come out, because she feels the need to say her story, because at the end of the day, she's now running not necessarily a business, but she's got people who are relying on her. And I feel like when it comes to integrity, it comes to credibility, anyone that she's been working with, she's trying to help, they need to make sure that they know that Claire's a good person. I do feel like doing this is something that she needed to do, not just to hold Sophie accountable, but also to keep her rotation in the right place. Because at the end of the day, anyone in this world that's out here trying to help people who've been through things, honestly, should be protected, and that's just the scheme of it. But either way, though, thank you so much for your time. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section. Now, remember, Claire has given me all the screenshots to the conversation that she did have with Rob. So what I will be doing is either they'll be uploaded throughout this video, or I'll make a separate video breaking it down and obviously give you my thoughts and opinions. Because really and truly, what has happened purely based on just being on a TV show is just blows my mind. But with that being said, though, thanks so much for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, of course.